Get that lime in there, you cowards. Whole damn camp stinks.
Hell, we will. Not when there's a perfectly good nigger to do it.
You go hang. And sir. Here. Dig. Get that lime in there.
We got work.
Got conversations about life, got conversations about death, got conversations about building a nation, about gaining knowledge of self. Not here to deceive ya, we'll make you a believer. Come build a nation with conversation, with prophecy and Atiba. Conversations between comrades. And welcome to Conversations Between Comrades. I am your host, Brother Prophecy. And you know what? It wouldn't be Conversations Between Comrades if I ain't have my comrade with me. But y'all know my comrade been missing, and I've been missing my comrade because he ain't had a phone. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. I'm getting a special. Wait. Hold on. Wait. I got a special announcement, y'all. Back on the show by popular demand. He back, Comrade Atiba. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? How you doing, comrade? Oh, can't hear you, comrade. Hold on.
You better know it. Free
There you
land,
go.
comrade.
I am my way.
All right. Man, it's been a mission, man.
That's what's up, comrade. So yeah.
I am. I will.
Yeah. Everybody. We've been
Can you
talking
see the
about
comrade
your
is froze
situation.
up on my end. This signal is real
Okay.
bad.
Can you hear me, comrade? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, comrade? I guess not. I think you having
I
some
can hear
technical
you.
difficulties.
We froze on mine. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think it might be a little lag. Right.
Nothing. Yeah, I'm froze over here.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
I mean,
lag going on, comrade. It's froze too.
I can see you. I can see
Let me
you
pull out
moving.
and pull back in.
Yeah. That's
Can you
what
see
we're
me?
gonna do. Yeah, I can see you. But yeah, you probably do need to pull out
Okay,
and pull
well,
back in.
I can't. Yeah,
Yeah. I tell you what, go out and try to come back
hey,
in.
comrade, I got Mama Ayadale and Sister Saw problems right now.
I already know, man. I already know. But yeah, if you could just go out and come back in to see, because like sometimes that you be able to make a strong connection like that.
Yeah, damn. Right when I pull through this.
What was it?
I think it just showed something just then. I don't know what the hell. It's freezing so damn hard. Can you see
Yeah,
me? Yeah,
hey,
you can see me now.
yeah, hey,
Can you
comrade.
see me now, comrade?
Do me this
I'm
favor,
moving,
comrade.
easy.
Do me this favor, comrade. I don't know how when you're gonna hear this, but do me this favor. Go out and then come back in.
All right,
Just come back into the program, leave the
all right.
program, and come back in, cause that might give you a better connection. But while Comrade doing that, why he doing that? Yeah, you can see Comrade back. He was able to get a phone, and hopefully the phone that he have available to him will be working properly, and he can we can enjoy the program for as long as he can, as long as he's here. But yeah, this is conversation between comrades and everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. Um, if you know of anybody who would benefit from this type of content or who will actually want to join this particular program, uh, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Write a comment. Let them know. Tag them in. Let them know what we're doing so we can help grow and we can be a stronger program and we can really get the word out. Um, Hold on, comrade. Wait a minute. Trying to add my comrade Atiba back in. There you go. How you doing now, comrade? Still got that lag?
I'm all right, comrade. How's my signal?
Oh yeah, I'm hearing you
Yeah, it's
well.
still.
It's good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna mess our program up like this, comrade. I be upset when Mama Aya deal them situation be messing up like this. So I be not gonna mess it up. I just want to say send my revolutionary regards to everyone. My situation got a little rough. Police caught me slipping. Well, ain't catch me
Hey,
slipping.
hey,
My
comrade.
hot spot was shit. Just to be honest about it.
Hey, comrade. Real quick. Um, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna let you talk to the people for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna share the program with everybody and invite everybody in. And you can just, you know what I'm saying, let everybody know what's been going on with you. And then, for however long you're gonna be here. And then, I can just go on because I got kind of something that I wanted to talk about the movie anyway. But yeah, while I'm gonna do that, you just gonna talk to the people.
Okay.
So I'll be back in a
All
second,
right. All right.
comrade.
Well, yeah. All right. Free to land, everyone. I'm hoping that y'all can hear me. My signal in this field is pretty bad. I just got a chance to make somewhat of an appearance on the show because I'm missing y'all like crazy. Uh, y'all became part of my life, so it's touch and go right now. I mean, actually, I had an opportunity to probably get me another phone, but this is the thing. I want to get shipped to another spot where I'll be closer to home and I'll get a chance to, see my grandchildren and stuff like that. Because my daughter, she can have a day with my grandson any day now. So, me being closer to home would be much better for everything. Um, so yeah, I could have actually got another phone, but the police had got my phone like shit. One day when we was on one of the programs, Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, and yeah, that just threw me all the way downhill with that move. I just knew I was had a legit spot, but they got me. It ain't nothing. I mean, I'll get another one. Like I said, I could have got one the next I just want to kind of try to save some of my money because they kind of expensive up here. It won't be as expensive if I go to the other spot. I'll be all right with that. Anyway, how y'all been? And have y'all been missing me? I see the comrade want to talk about emancipation. I hadn't got a chance to see that movie yet, um, but I did get a chance to see a movie today called Breaking, and that's a real good movie. Y'all ought to check that out. And if y'all ain't seen American Skin, that movie I seen that movie about 2, 3 years ago. That is a great movie for everyone to check out. American Skin. Uh, You show you the police, how police is pulling people over this. I ain't gonna get y'all the. If y'all ain't seen it, check that movie out. It's about the black and white issues, the police pulling us over and shit. Yeah, that's gonna touch y'all hard right there. And breaking too. Breaking is about how some of the Vietnam or some of the veterans will come back home and the VAs, neglecting them and shit like that. So it's a real good movie. Y'all gonna enjoy that. Been doing a lot of more studying and reading lately, building with the brothers behind the walls as usual. You know that I can't stop doing that. That's my normal flow. That's routine. I was doing that, been doing that for the last 20 years in here. Uh, and we steady going on that. We steady building right there. Um, Trying to get a lot more and more uh, active. You know, so it's been a good time. Comrade, you come on in with me now. I'm over here stumbling and fumbling. I'm just listening to you right now. I'm almost about to break in tears. I've been missing it so much.
Man, hey, it's gonna be all right, comrade. You know what? Sooner or later, this right
Yeah,
here. Yeah, this right here is gonna be this right here is gonna be some of the past, and we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna be back flowing bigger, better, and stronger than ever, man. Just real soon.
yeah,
I'm on here. I want to give a big shout out to some people up in El Abdul Muhammad. How you doing, brother? He said I viewed the movie 2 times on Apple TV. Oscar worthy
yeah,
indeed. And I actually we're gonna get into emancipation of that movie in depth in a little
yeah,
while,
yeah,
but I'm glad.
yeah.
Horrible Joker Jamal, how you
I
doing,
was,
brother? Glad you checking in. How
I
you
was telling,
doing?
I don't know if he was responding to the one I was speaking on. I
Well,
don't know if that
I
brother
think
was responding to the moves I had made mention of. I made mention of breaking in American skin.
okay, but now I think he's talking about
We got a little
emancipation.
lag going
I
on,
thought
so
I
I
thought
don't know.
when you do that, that'd be real loud. But no, I think he's talking about emancipation cause before I left out and before you just
Oh,
really
my bad,
started
my bad.
talking, yeah, before you really started talking, he had made that comment. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Haribu, he said, I am doing good, my brother, my beloved brother. I'm good to
Okay.
hear you doing well and all that. So how long you gonna stay on with us, comrade? Y'all got to excuse this a lag when he be, before we get there.
Well, I'm here for a moment. I'm here for a moment. I don't know really. Hey, I'm here. Like I said, it's somebody else's phone. He let me jump on. I just want to, give everybody my revolutionary greetings and let them know that I love them and miss them. I hear people that out.
Hey, when you touch that, when you
Yeah, this
touch
is
that,
Emancipation.
hey comrade, whenever
Anyway,
you touch
so
that microphone, it give all kind of feedback, all kind of feedback. So whenever you be conscious of touching that earpiece you got, because every time you do it,
okay,
it sound like some stuff going down. But yeah, because right now,
okay.
comrade,
Well,
like
my ears ain't made for this year. I'm just gonna be a moment
I,
anyway.
I feel.
Yeah. W- uh, so, yeah. Free the land, comrade, brother. New African Revolutionary. Love, greetings, and salutations to you as well, and all other comrades are joining the show. Like I said, I miss y'all, and I'm just right now. I'm just going through the process of trying to get things settled where I can get closer to home and get a chance to, then I'll grab me another phone. But right now, it's just the situation is I don't know if I need to be grabbing a phone up here because it's been kind of they've been moving a little crazy, and I ain't gonna throw no more money away. This shit here too expensive down here. And I'm, I ain't giving up my money like that. No. Anyway, But yeah, so how the show's been, comrade? I mean, I ain't got a chance to view nothing or see nothing. What's been
I
talked
mean,
about, or what's the shows being spoken on today?
well, we've been, I mean, we've been doing what we've been doing, trying to hold it down. Last night I actually had the opportunity to see the movie Emancipation, Will Smith, and I thought it was an excellent movie. I know you haven't seen it, and I try not to give too many spoilers. But I guess before we even get into that, I know, let me see, on the Foundation of the Nation with Sa and Mama Ayo this past Tuesday, they talked about, what did they talk about? They talked about blended families. You know what I'm saying, comrade? And they were talking about how, like, we have most of the time when we get together, especially in marriage, chances are with the current condition that we're in, we're going to unite with a mate who already have children, or we already have children, and we have to kind of blend them together and try to make the best out of the situation, that we have, and make strong families out of this particular situation. I get my comrade gone. But yeah. So let me rewind. Let me retract. Yeah, comrade Atiba, he lost his phone, so he have not been on the program, but he was able to use brother who's in the camp with him. His phone, apparently not that good. It doesn't have strong restriction, have strong reception. So we was having a real difficult time communicating. So, so I guess he dropped out of the program. So I guess I'm here to kind of pick up the pieces. But yeah, eventually he gonna get another phone, and it's gonna be strong. We're gonna be back on doing our regular scheduled program. But for everybody out there watching, make sure y'all drop a like, drop a comment, let us know who's out there, so we can converse with you, so we can interact, and we can have this back and forth, because I always say that we have the most intelligent, most politically aware audience out in the land, and that's a beautiful thing. And a big part of this show is the comrades out there who's listening to this, not only listening but participating and dropping your information, educating us as we try to educate you, and we educate each other. It's like each one teach one, and we teach each other, and we build together, and that's a beautiful thing about this program. So yeah, T was blocked on. Hey, comrade. Hey, comrade. Well, I say this, because like our back and forth and that connection is so
Yeah, I'm here,
bad,
comrade.
we don't want to stagnate we
I'm
don't
here.
want to stagnate the program. Hey, we probably don't want to stagnate the program, because like our back and forth is not really just consistent, and we want to make sure that we're able to give the
I was going
audience the best program we can. So, what I say is I let you go, talk to the people, say what you want to say, and then, you can sit back and watch the program however you want to. But, how we going back and forth, it ain't conducive to a really good show until you're able to get, a better phone, a better connection at least. You feel what I'm saying, comrade?
listen, listen, comrade. What I was going to suggest is y'all go ahead and have the show, because this signal is just too poor in itself for this phone. And hopefully next week I can probably jump on and we'll have a better situation set up. If not, hey, just keep building, comrade, man. I love you. I love the comrades. Y'all stay strong. We're going to win this war no matter what. To our dying day or our dying breath. We in this fight in it to win it. So, like I said, I love y'all, and y'all remain strong. I'm going to remain strong behind this wall, and to my comrades behind the wall. Hey, we gonna see a brighter day in this year. I'm always gonna remain optimistic about our struggle, or else I wouldn't be in free to land.
Free the land. I am my will. Yeah, comrade. Um, I'm like I say, I'm gonna see you later, comrade. I'm gonna see you later, man. Thank you for checking in. Make sure y'all give Atiba some likes, give him some love and all that, because this is a dedicated brother. This is a good brother, a brother who has been committed to the liberation of new African people, a brother who, while he has been incarcerated, has managed to transform his criminalistic mentality to a revolutionary mentality. A brother who not only, educates himself, but educates others, who builds others up who have been incarcerated. While he has been locked up for over 20 years now, he has managed to touch the lives of so many brothers and change the lives of brothers. He's actually, his brothers who are out there living life now, living free, being productive, being strong members of our nation, the Black nation. And it's because of that brother right there. So y'all give that brother some likes, and hopefully he'll be back on the program, dropping the information, doing what he does. As always, and apologize, earlier for having that connection issue. That was problem. Brother Jorge, Che Nuvez. I'm sorry if I messed up your name, comrade. But good to see you. Revolutionary greetings to you also. That's a brother from the Attica movement. And I always say, man, we're going to get you on the show so we can get your perspective and get your story, because you have a dynamic story. You have a dynamic history. You have a wealth of knowledge that has to be passed on to the future generations. Brothers like you who've been through the fire, who've been through the struggle, been through the war, and been through wars. We definitely have to give you your flowers now, and we have to preserve your story so we can learn, and we can build, and we can continue this fight, because the war is not over. We're just in the middle of it. Little Hamisha, how you doing? But I should call you Big Hamisha now, because you all grown up, man. Good to see you. Feed the land to you also. I will. So yeah, thank everybody for checking in. Make sure y'all give us some likes, man. Hit that like button. We'll get into this. I'm gonna start back how I started the show at the beginning, because when I started, wasn't a lot of people on, but we started with the clip from the movie Emancipation. I'm gonna show it again. Dang, I can't call you. I can't talk to you now. I'm live. People love to call me while I'm live. But we're gonna start with this clip from this movie, and then we'll talk about this movie to see, is it worth seeing? Is it good?
Let's get that lime in there, you cowards. Whole damn camp stinks.
Hell, we will. Not when there's a perfectly good nigger to do it.
You go hang. And sir. Here. Dig. Get that lime in there.
And that was just a small clip from Emancipation, movie by Will Smith. Well, not by Will Smith, movie starring Will Smith. And I see a couple of people dropped off. I actually didn't mean to play the whole clip. Somebody texted me while in the middle of that, and I had to kind of respond and say, "Hey, I'm kind of busy right now, comrade." But yeah, that's Emancipation. This particular movie was basically inspired by true events, by this enslaved African simply known as Peter. Now, he's in a photograph that's really, really famous. It's a photo, I know most of you all have probably seen it. It's a photograph of an enslaved African man who was basically took a picture showing his back, exposing his back, and you saw his back had basically been lacerated, really shredded up from whips and beatings and being brutalized. And they used this picture in order to show the real horrors of chattel slavery, and it became like world famous, with all over the world, and it's still a pretty famous photograph now that shows the horrors of slavery. And this movie was inspired by this individual enslaved African by the name of Peter. I've tried to look. I was gonna wait until I've seen like other reactions to other people to this movie. I mean, I already know what I feel about it, but I kind of wanted to see what other people's perspective and belief on this particular film before I just chimed in, so I could react to their react, whether I disagree or agree. But I said, you know what, let me just go on do that. Now, personally, come on, man, stop texting me while I'm doing that. Personally, as far as the film is concerned, I actually thought it was a well done film, and it's a lot of things in the film that can be used as teaching points. A lot of parts of the film that can be used as teaching points. One of the biggest criticisms that I've heard of the film is the brutality of it. It's brutal. Make no mistakes. This film right here does not really sugarcoat the enslavement of African people, or the enslavement or the very nature of chattel slavery. It doesn't do that at all. And at a lot of points of the movie, it can be hard to watch. A lot of parts of the movie can trigger you. It can piss you off and all of that. And I've heard some people call it trauma porn, and they say, I'm tired of seeing Black people always getting beaten, always getting murdered and brutalized by white people on, film and television. Can't we see something else? And I understand that perspective. I can respect it, I guess. But, from my point of view, how I look at that and how I view that is, I think it is really, really, really important to document, to show the true nature of what our ancestors went through. We have to let the world know and never forget what our ancestors endured in this brutal system of chattel slavery. I mean, we got to be like Emmett Till's mother, because Emmett Till his face was mutilated. You couldn't even recognize him as being a human being, how bad they did that brother. But his mother was so gangster that she said, no, we're not going to have a closed casket. We want to have an open casket so the world can see what they did to my son. The world can see how big of animals these people are. And I think it's really, really important that we never let individuals forget what our ancestors went through. We can't do that, and like I said, some people call it trauma porn, and I say, I guess I can understand that. I guess I can see where you're coming from, but it's just, we ought to be like Jewish people. Jewish people never let you forget what happened to them. They even their freedom cry, never forget, never forget. And if you say something that offends them, they say, oh, wait, we got to take you down to the Holocaust Museum so you can see what these other white folks did to us, even though we ain't had nothing to do with you. We had nothing to do with it. We ain't killed not one Jewish person. That was over there in Germany with Hitler and they white brothers and sisters. But they quick to say, hey, never forget what happened to the Jewish people. I don't know if there's a Jewish accent or not, but you know. So we have to do the same thing when it comes to our story, our Holocaust. We tend to call it the Ma'afa, because chattel slavery is something that existed for a very long time. It existed in Africa and just about everywhere in the world. But chattel slavery was something different. It was something different. It was something that it was a permanent condition. It was a condition for life. It was a condition that your children, that your grandchildren were born into when you couldn't just get out of it. And it was a condition in which you were simply property. You weren't even really human beings under this system. You were just property. It is why we don't just call it slavery. We call it the Ma'afa, which means the great disaster. So we should never let them forget about what has happened. And we have to make sure that we tell the stories, because apparently it's obvious that we don't even know what happened to our ancestors ourselves. Don't believe it? Look at some of the things that we produce. It's like, how in the world could you ever be on a record and celebrate and promote and dance to and sing about the murder of black people, the murder of black men, the disrespect of black women, when you know what happened to our ancestors? If you know what they did to our women, to our brothers and sisters, to our children, there's no way you can do that when you understand what has happened to us. In fact, you can't even listen to that type of music when you know what has happened to us. When you understand what has happened to our people, what our people have endured in this country, and you hear a black man bragging and celebrating about murdering another black man, I mean, your first reaction is, how dare you? How dare you sing about the murder and the destruction and the brutality of your brothers and sisters when we went through some of the most horrendous crimes against humanity that this world has ever seen? That should always be our response. How dare you? See, they always having us go to the Holocaust Museum. We need our own Ma'afa Museum to let you know about the African Holocaust. And this Holocaust is still going on today. It is still going on today. So to all the people say, well, I don't want to see that, that's trauma porn. No, rap music is trauma porn. All these dudes rapping about how you kill this nigga, that nigga, put your face on a t-shirt, have your mama crying and you bragging about that, putting it in an artistic way, making it flow and sound good. That's trauma porn, because these type of things are traumatizing us every night. So, like I said, it is important that we understand the brutal nature of this system in which our ancestors endured. It is so important that we do that. And that's why I can appreciate the brutality of this movie, because it did not sugarcoat it. It didn't sugarcoat it at all. So that's just my stand on that. But that's why we warn you. It's brutal, man. There's some scenes on there that will piss you off. But the thing about it is, if the truth makes you pissed off, if the truth gets you pissed off, then you probably need to be pissed off. If this movie, which is based on reality, based on what had actually happened to our people, makes you pissed off, then we need to be pissed off, period. And I think, personally, a lot of it is, people who say, I don't want to see that. A lot of it is, we've been so trained and conditioned to love our colonizer, to love the slave master so much that we just don't like to see or don't like to be reminded of all of the wicked and evil things that they have done to us. It's like, let's stop telling the truth on massa. Will you please stop telling the truth on massa? It make me feel bad. It make me feel, how I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna sleep with Becky tonight when I know what Becky granddaddy did to me. So, it It is what it is. It is what it is. But I mean, apparently, our people are suffering from a lack of knowledge, from a lack of understanding who we are, where we came from in our history, and how we got to this condition. That's a part of the reasoning, the rationale behind all of the self-destructive behavior that you see in our community. It ain't an accident that every night you see black people killing black people. So much so they use it as a political term. They call it black on black crime. But it's not an accident that you see crime in our community. Now, it's not a simple answer. It's not just one answer. It's a combination of things. Black on black crime or crime and violence in our community, which is a better way of saying it, is a combination of a lot of things. It is a combination of a lack of resources, a combination of self-hate because we've been living in a system for over 400 years that has told us that we are less than human beings. It's a combination of not understanding your history, not understanding that once upon a time, not understanding that our history did not start on a slave ship. That before this institution of chattel slavery, we were the rulers of the planet Earth. We had great nations, great civilizations. We topped the world civilization. Our ancestors did that. Way before a European person crawled out of a cave. And this ain't hate that I'm talking. This is just history. You can check it. When Europeans were over in the caves of the Caucasus Mountain, living a nomadic lifestyle, you had kingdoms all over Africa, all over South America, all over the world, while Europeans were just learning how to survive. And that ain't hate, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm talking to, my African brothers, my Chicano brothers, all of us, because they have told us that we had no civilization. They told us that where we come from was backwards, uncivilized. These are the lies that have been told us to condition us in a way that has produced self-hatred amongst our people, to the point where our lives are meaningless to ourselves. And it's so easy for us to kill each other. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? Man, my sister home. This is the first time you ever checked in. Lisa? Man, so I guess I gotta watch what I say now, because Lisa home. Like, man, I can't cuss. No, I'm messing with you. But hey, Lisa, I'm so glad you you joined the program. Support your brother. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is everybody in here are brothers and sisters, because this is a big old family. Conversation between comrades. All of us are comrades, and we are all family. So just join the family, Lisa. Come on now. All these people love us. So yeah, you just found a whole bunch of other brothers and sisters. But yeah, like I said, we've been talking about emancipation, and the first thing that I wanted to deal with is the brutality of the movie and how I think that it is necessary. I think that it's important that we show exactly the crimes and the brutal nature of what has happened to our ancestors. And we don't run away from that. We don't hide that. We teach our children, this is what happened. This is the truth about what happened. So we can understand our current situation. We can understand how we got here. And we can recognize that, when that black man step on my shoe by accident and I get triggered and I want to do something, I want to react, you got to understand where they come from. Understand the seeds of self-hate that has been planted in a system of white supremacy in which we've been struggling from, still to this day. So, that's my first point that I wanted to deal with on that is, what people call trauma porn. That was, like I said, trauma porn is not that movie. Trauma porn is when you turn on the radio and you shaking your booty and you're dancing to somebody talking about murdering another black man. You dancing to a black man who is disrespecting the black woman. That's trauma porn. That is trauma porn. And that's something that we really got to stop accepting. We need to start protesting that. We need to start, every time you hear somebody doing something, displaying that type of behavior, displaying that type of self-hatred, we got to stop saying, ooh, he got bars, he flowing. Be like, no, man, How dare you disrespect your people like that? How dare you disrespect your ancestors like that? How dare you disrespect the Black woman like that? How dare you disrespect yourself like that, your family like that, your children like that? And we got to stop accepting it, point blank, period. But anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at with the brutality of the movie. It can be hard to watch, but I think it's necessary, definitely necessary. Overall, like I said, I think the movie was a very, very good movie. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can find things to critique it and find negative aspects of it, but I am one of the belief that there are positive and negatives in all things, and that we should always focus on the positive, and we should promote and push the positive, and we should, especially Hollywood movies, because Hollywood is notorious for perpetuating negative stereotypes and having messages in their movies that are detrimental to our people. So anytime we have a Hollywood movie that has positive aspects to it, we should always push that positive out, you know, and use that as teachable moments and tools to teach the people. And I think there was a lot of teachable moments in this particular movie, you know. Of course, you can always, you know, find something negative about it. But what else? What else can we talk about in this particular film? So honestly, you know, if I'm gonna be real with you, I personally okay. Let me see. How do you feel about Will Smith getting spit on that wasn't in the script? Actually, I haven't read that. Andrea, first, hey Andrea, how you doing? Good. Glad to have you checking in. She said, how do you feel about Will Smith getting spit on that wasn't in the script? I actually didn't read that particular part. I saw something about the story before I came on air, but I didn't have an opportunity to read it, so I don't know what really happened. But me being into film, somebody who makes films and understanding the creative process, the ultimate goal is to produce the best product that you possibly can when it goes into making a movie. And sometimes you can get really carried away. Good actors and good actresses can really lose themselves in a film. So, you know, somebody spitting on you, I'll just say, what's the end result? Did that make the movie better? Did that enhance the movie? And I mean, that's kind of my thought without necessarily hearing or seeing, you know, the actual story. So, you know, it's like, what's the end result? Because at the end of the day, when you get spit on, you're going to wipe it off and you're going to pass, you're going to move on. But ultimately, what you produce is going to last longer than you will. That's why, you know, some people have problems with certain actors playing certain parts. I know when what's that Judas and the Black Messiah came out, there were some people who had issues with the brother who played Fred Hampton because he was from England, I believe. And it was like saying, well, you know, he shouldn't be playing. And I've always been of the belief that it's about who can deliver the best performance, because that film is going to outlast the individual. At the end of the day, you know, the art that you leave, that's what you're going to be judged on. And if you have an individual who does not have the ideology, I may have the opposite ideology of the person that they played in real life, it doesn't matter if they deliver, if they bring that character to life, if they do justice by their character. You know, if you have someone who can articulate the ideology as good as Fred Hampton did, someone who believed just like Fred Hampton did, but if they can't pull the role off, then it messes up the film. You know, because when, you know, 20 years down the line, with people looking at the film and, oh, that sucks, and turn it off. So it don't even matter how, you know, revolutionary the actual actor was in real life. If he don't pull the role off, then it don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So the ultimate, you know, when in the filming process, what's most important is the finished product, because that's what's going to be judged. That's what's going to influence people. So, you know, you know, Jorge said, where have Will Smith been when our people were being killed in the streets? Has he ever talked about that? And honestly, I don't really know, because I don't really follow Will. I don't follow entertainers like that, because I don't look at entertainers as politicians or leaders or people that we should go follow. I look at entertainers as people who go entertain, you know, and I kind of judge entertainers based on their art and what they produce. So, you know, it's like I don't really look for Will Smith to do those type of things. I don't really put that on there. And I'm glad you brought up that, because I did want to talk about Will Smith, because personally, I think that it's really unfortunate, you know, about what happened at the Oscars when he slapped Chris Rock. First of all, that was a jacked up move, personally. Just, you know, my opinion on that. That was not a good look for him to do that. He was out of line doing that. But I think it's really unfortunate, because that event has overshadowed some very good work that he has produced lately. I mean, if you think about it, the night that he slapped Chris Rock, he received an Oscar for playing a role of a strong Black father who was a part of a strong Black family, who produced the two greatest tennis players ever. They are the GOATs. And all of that was overshadowed by what he did, because he wasn't able to control his emotions, because he was triggered, whatever it is that, you know, possessed him to get up and slap Chris Rock. Personally, I think that was just another case of a brother who had been traumatized because Will Smith been emasculated in more than just one different way, in more than one way. And he was triggered and he reacted in a way that he just should not have in that situation. Not much different from like when you in the street and you see a confrontation over something little and it ends up with somebody getting killed. You know, I know it's on different levels and different degrees and stuff like that, but I think it still stems from the same place. It still comes from us, especially Black men, who have been triggered, who have been traumatized. And, you know, but my point is, I think that it's a shame that what has happened, what he did, is overshadowing some of the art that he's been producing, that he's acting in. Because last night, actually, after I looked at Emancipation, I turned around and I looked at King Richard, which was about the father of Serena and Venus Williams. And I'm like mad at myself. I was like, dang, I've been slipping on this movie, because this movie is about a strong Black man who was down to do whatever it takes to make sure that his family was okay. And we don't have enough stories like that, period. We just don't have enough stories like that. So, you know, regardless to what Will Smith does in his personal life, regardless to his political ideology and all of these type of things, I mean, he is an actor, and the type of things that he has been producing lately, I got to commend him for it. I got to be like saying, no, good job. Your art should be celebrated, because, like I say, I mean, we could easily be doing a program on King Richard, because, like I said, it portrays a strong Black father, not just a strong Black man, but a strong Black father who's down with his family. And they showed a nuclear family intact. Now, I understand there are probably some things about this brother's history that not so flattering, not so good. But the movie didn't focus on it. It kind of alluded to a couple of things, but it focused on the positive of this brother. And the positive is what we need to see. We need to see strong Black fathers who are part of strong Black families who do amazing things and are able to produce strong Black children. Period. That's the positive out of that. Now, I mean, we can go in and we can analyze so Serena or Venus's personal life and say, okay, it wasn't this. We can do all of that. You know, that's easy to do, but that ain't benefiting us. You know what I'm saying? That don't benefit us by dwelling on the most negative aspects of our culture, our people. I think we should always take those positive aspects and put them to the forefront. Use those positive aspects of examples of what we should be trying to emulate. Don't throw the negative out there, because you give power, you empower those things that you give energy to. So if you give energy to the negative, then you empower the negative. You know, because it always, you know, it trips me out when, you know, we'll have a movie about, you know, whatever. It can be a movie about whatever. It can be about the Black liberation movement or, you know, whatever, but racism in America. And it will have a gay character in it. Now, it can have like 100 things that's like on point and 100 teachable moments that we can use and we can utilize for our propaganda that can help educate the people. You can have 100 teachable moments on that. But we'll focus on, oh, it's a gay agenda. It's gay, it's gay, gay. And we'll blow the gay character out like that was the whole movie, which only empowers that which you criticize. Because now, you know, if I'm in the LGBT movement, I'm thinking to myself like, well, damn, this movie about this, this, and this, and you focus on us. Why you hate us so much that you take something and you will negate all of this positive stuff to focus on your hatred for me? And, you know, whether you was trying to or not, you just became an antithesis for the LGBT community. And like I said, I'm not criticizing the LGBT. This is not negative. I'm trying to point out what people do, what we do, you know, that is detrimental to our movement. We focus on the wrong things. Too many times we focus on the wrong things. And we should, you know, always use, especially like I said, Hollywood movies that have some positive aspects that we can build on it. Because let me just be real, you know, is negative of things that Hollywood has been to our people, our culture, in spreading negative stereotypes and negative narratives. It has been devastating. The reality is Hollywood is a monster as far as when it comes to propaganda. It's a monster on that. And that's the reality. So anytime you can utilize something that they have produced, which is going to be the highest of all quality, you know, I do films, but the reality is, hey, I can't recreate the war scenes that you saw on Emancipation. I can't just do that. I could actually film the look of it, and most of the parts of that movie I could actually do, but like certain things I can't. You know, I ain't got the Hollywood budget. I can't just got the permits to blow stuff up. You know, so yeah, but that's what that is. But yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate that Will Smith's actions have overshadowed some actually good work that has been produced. And, you know, getting back, because I was talking about King Richard, but getting back to Emancipation, this movie. Now, other aspects that are teachable moments, and like I said, I will try not to give any spoilers, but I do recommend it. I do recommend this movie. One thing that I thought was really interesting is how they dealt with the subject of religion in this movie. Because they showed how religion has been used to enslave us. I think they did a really, really good job, and I don't want to, give too many spoilers. But I think they did do a good job of showing that specifically. And I will say this, because there was a scene where they was at like a war like camp with a lot of soldiers, and they had a lot of enslaved Africans who were like building the tracks and doing things, being enslaved for the soldiers of the Confederate Army. But while they were working, there were individuals quoting Bible scriptures. My slaves obeyed master as you would obey Christ, and all of these type of things. And they kept on doing it. And there was other scenes where they were talking to the enslaved people like, look, I'm your God, boy. I'm the one that allows you to walk the earth. And so it did a very good job of putting that in there. But I also, and you understand, people who know me know I'm not a religious dude. My name is Prophecy, not because I believe in some religious type thing. My name is Prophecy for another reason. And we'll get into that some other time. But it did balance it out because, first of all, the main character, the protagonist of the movie, was a very religious guy. He was a religious brother. And it did show how during chattel slavery, under these terrible conditions, people leaned on their faith as a mechanism, as a survival mechanism, a way to get through the brutality, the drama, and the trauma of this situation. So I can appreciate that. From somebody who's not really religious, I can appreciate that because I know that this is true. I know that our spirituality, our religious belief system, in many cases was the only thing that allowed us to be strong enough to endure that type of situation, But I also understand that a lot of times today, that can be detrimental. So it's like some things that evolve in ways that helped us out under one situation can be extremely detrimental in another situation. For example, on the plantation, we used to live low on the hog. Hold on, first of all, let me stop this. What's up, Erica? How you doing? I see you checking in. You gave me the Black Power Fist to you. You know what I'm saying? And one day we got to do a show on something called the Erica effect. That's an inside joke, you know what I'm saying, between me and Erica. But I'm glad you joined the program. Thank you for watching. But like I said, I was talking about how there are things that evolve the survival mechanisms to help us cope with certain situations. But when you change situations, when your circumstances changes, these same evolutionary characteristics or trait can be detrimental to you because you're under different circumstances. An example that I was using back on the plantation, we used to do this thing called, we used to eat low on the hog. Low on the hog means that like you got a hog and all of the parts that they disregarded, they threw away, that they didn't want, the slave master didn't want, they gave it to the enslaved. They gave it to the Africans. And like the chitlins and the hog intestines and the pig feet and the ears and the snout and these things, that's what we had to eat. The leftover things that the so-called slave master didn't want. Well, us being who we are, we made delicacies out of it. We made this very nasty, gross, grotesque things to something that is delicious. It's a survival tool. But you fast forward to today, we still have a lot of that diet that we inherited from the plantation. And it's killing us now. That's one of the reasons why, we die so heavily from diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, cancer, all of these things, because we still have a slave diet. And it's devastating, it's detrimental to us. we can apply that to religion in the same way. Because first we got to understand that, you know, that they forced us to accept this particular religious belief. It wasn't because we said, oh, wow, I like this Bible thing. It's really cool. It's really good. And I know that might trigger some people, might hurt some people feelings, but that's the reality. That's the history of it. That's the truth. They forced us to accept it. They forced our ancestors. And they didn't force us to accept it to save our soul. I know that's what they told us, but that's not the reality. That's not the truth of it. They forced us into accept this religion in order to make us better suited to be enslaved Africans. And actually in the movie, they did touch on that too. That's one of the reasons why, you know, I like this movie, because there are a lot of little nuggets in this movie that's teachable. Because, you know, there's one scene where the wife, it was with the children. And they was like sad because their daddy wasn't there and they were missing their father. And they were trying to separate the family and all these type of things. And she said, she told the children, regardless of what happened, never forget who you are. Because they was like saying, it was, do you think daddy is still alive? And he says, no, I don't think he's still alive. I know he's still alive because he knows who he is. He said they tried to take us, to make us forget who we are. They tried to take our language from us. They tried to take our belief system from us. They tried to take our heritage from us, but we didn't let them, because this particular family, they still knew their indigenous language. They spoke, you know, some, I don't know the language, but there will be times where they would start to speak their indigenous language to each other. So they had their culture, their history had been able to stay intact, even though the European power structure, chattel slavery, under the chattel slavery system, had tried to take it away from them. And it was a source of strength for them. Like I said, you know, this particular movie, one I liked it, first of all, it was about a strong Black man, but not just a strong Black man, a strong Black father who ultimately was damned to give his life for his family, for the protection of his family. And they showed a strong Black woman, and they showed a strong Black family. That's one reason why I said, you know, I got to give it up to Will Smith, because like 2 movies back to back, he had movies that portrayed strong Black families. So yeah, but like I said, the movie does a really good job, not necessarily preaching it to you or telling it to you, but kind of showing how, you know, the dichotomy of religion back on the plantation, how one, it was used to enslave us, but it was also used as a coping mechanism to help us to endure that. But as far as now, today, I think we really got to have a real deal conversation about the fact that we're no longer under the system of chattel slavery. We're still a slave system, but it ain't chattel slavery. So if we're no longer under chattel slavery, then there are certain things that we really need to consider, or need to analyze and to see, you know, are these things still good for us? Are these things still helpful for us? Or do these things act as a barrier to our ultimate goal of liberation and true freedom? And religion is something that we just got to have a real deal discussion about that. And that's true. A lot of people don't like talking about it because it's a sensitive subject. You got to realize why it's a sensitive subject, you know. And I know people don't like me to be too hard on religion, and that's why, you know, on this subject, I'm very tame, y'all. I'm very tame. Trust me, you know, because in real life, I will go go Mortal Kombat, finish him, you know, especially somebody come trying to convert me or something like that. Don't do it. That's a mistake. You shouldn't have did it. But yeah, I mean, religion is a sensitive subject, is a touchy subject, but we got to understand why it's so touchy. And the reality of it is because, and let me be careful because I don't, I can go down a 2-hour rabbit hole with this next particular thing I'm about to say. But the reason why it's so touchy is because belief is an extremely important part of the Christian religion. No, this is just true. Gotta believe. You got to believe. Belief is so important. Now, the reason why belief is so important, because think about this. Now, you can be a mass murderer. You can do the most devilish things in the world. But according to this religion, all you got to do is 2 things. 1, ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry I killed all those people I am. And 2, believe in Jesus. Them 2 things. Those are the 2 things you have to do. Ask for forgiveness and believe. And belief is probably the most important thing, because if you don't believe, you're going to burn in the fiery pits of hell forever and ever and ever. Which is, that's kind of crazy, right? Because do you understand what belief is? What that means when you believe? Basically, when you believe something, you're basically saying, I don't know, because belief is not knowledge. It's like, I don't know, but this is what I'm going to go with. That's what belief is. It's not knowledge. It's not facts. It's what you think. And when you study the history of the Christian religion, when it began to rise to power after 325 at the Conference of Nicaea, headed by Emperor Constantine, which was basically using this religion in order to unite his empire, because they was in constant civil war at the time. So it was used as a political tool. But after this conference, when they basically decided we're about to give the world Christianity, a lot of people was like saying, like, hold on, dude, wait a minute. Your religion is BS. It ain't real. It's made up. It's fictitious. Now, this is history. Don't get mad at me. This is just the history. And most people, especially Christians, have no idea about your history or your religion. That's the reality. When it first, was begin to spread, and it was spread by force. Be clear about that. It didn't spread because everybody said, damn, this is a good religion. It was spread by force. Just like they forced it on us. They forced it on the entire world. They forced it on the indigenous people of the day, in the Americas, and they forced it on the people of Haiti. They forced it on the people in South America. They forced it on the people in Africa, everywhere. But like I said, when it first began to rise to power, and one day I might just have to really do an in-depth history of Christianity, because it's like, it got a serious history to it. But when it first began to rise to power, people criticized it. They said, you know what, y'all, this y'all doing some make-believe. What you talking about ain't even real. It's based on some other stuff. Y'all basically copies these other religion, and you trying to push it off as something that's original and authentic and stuff like that. And first of all, your whole savior ain't even real, don't even exist. This is what people were saying. This is documented. So one of the first tenets of Christianity was, you got to believe in this. In fact, if you look at the Christian creed that came out of the Conference of Nicaea, 325, it talks about believe. It said you got to believe in Jesus. But I believe it didn't say Jesus. It said Christ, because the word Jesus wasn't even back then. That one, Jesus, wasn't no Jesus back then. Oh, I said some controversy right there. Oh, let me quantify that. I'll qualify that. You know what I'm saying? The word Jesus was not a name back in those times. He would have been named Yahshua or Yahshua or Isa. And I did not mean to get into this deep into religion. But basically, long story short, the critics of the early Christian religion, when it began to come to power, were basically saying that this is fictitious, it's not real. And as a response to this criticism, the belief became a serious requirement in the Christian faith. So much so that they said, if you don't believe, you're going to burn in hell forever and ever and ever. And you're told that from a child. You know, you're going to child like, if you don't believe in this, you're going to burn in hell, which is really psychological warfare. That's terrorism for a child. That's why today religion is such a touchy subject. Because when you get a brother like me who started poking holes into a belief, and you've been taught that if you don't believe you're going to burn in hell, then it creates a cognitive dissonance. It creates an anxiety. It causes people to shut down because you've been traumatized at birth, because if you don't believe in this, you're going to go to hell. So, let me see. Freedom power. Doesn't every spiritual and religious system require belief? For example, what happens to us after we die? Actually, no, that's incorrect. I have to disagree with that. No, every spiritual system does not require belief, especially in how I'm talking about. When I talk about Christianity, it requires a specific belief in Jesus. If you don't believe in this individual, then you're going to die, you're going to go to hell. In fact, most spiritual systems don't require you to believe in this. It requires you to have certain principles. It requires you to act a certain way. It requires you to do certain things, but it don't necessarily say, well, you better believe here or you're going to go to hell, you know. Most spiritual systems don't, especially when you go back before these three monotheistic religions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. When you go back farther than that to where they really originated from, which you get out of religion and you get into more spirituality, is not really about, you know, about basically, you know, and I did not want to get into this subject, I'm sorry, but basically, when you have the three basic religions today, there are distortions of spiritual systems that existed millenniums and millenniums before they came into existence. And I'm gonna wrap that up right there, because I ain't mean to go on this subject. My whole point about religion was in the movie Emancipation, they did a great job. They did a great job of breaking down how religion was used to better enslave us. That was my whole point. I wasn't trying to, you know, give no history lesson about religion or start a debate on belief or whatnot and stuff like that. You know, and I'm trying not to go there. You know what I'm saying? Because I will go there in a second. And then Comrade T would be like, man, Prophecy, why you do it? Why you do it? Why are you messing with them people belief system? And I'm not trying, because the reality is, I don't give a damn about what you believe in. That's the truth. I do not care with what you believe in. I care about what you do. I care about your commitment to this liberation of our people. I care about your commitment to the destruction of a system that has oppressed the world. And if your religion goes against that, then fuck your religion. And that's for real, you know. That's as honest as I can be. So, you know what I'm saying? You can believe in Jesus, you can believe in Buddha, Krishna, addicts, or Osiris, Haru, or whatever it is, Mohammed. It don't matter to me. I don't care. All I care about is our commitment to the liberation of our people. So, you know. But anyway. Oh man, y'all having some damn good to say. Y'all getting deep up in here. Man, see, y'all gonna pull me into a religious discussion, y'all. I'm trying not to do it. But y'all going there, y'all. Let me see. Well, let me get to let me see. Brother Che, how you doing? And you had a comment that I actually did not get to when you was telling me about what I should call you. You said just call you Che because Nueves is a slave master, and I'm so glad that you pointed that fact out that Chicano people have slave masters too, and your last name, Nueves, goes back to some kind of probably a Spaniard or plantation owner, and it's just more common ground that we have. That's why I always, even though my government name is on Facebook, when anybody calls me by my government name, I'll be like, oh, don't do that, don't do it. I'm not really offended, you know what I'm saying? But I acknowledge that, my last name, and I love my family, I love my family, the Gary family, I love y'all, but I do acknowledge that it goes back to a plantation, a slave master plantation, and that's a reality, and I've been fortunate enough to be given an African name and an African naming ceremony. So, and I appreciate that. But anyway, to your comment, Christians know how to brainwash children, and brainwash is really child abuse. Check it ours for yourself. Check it out for yourself. That's pretty heavy. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to pull me back into that conversation by speaking like that, Brother Che. But I will say, that's for real, man. That's real talk. I mean, because think about this. As a child, a young child, before you're even able to read, you're given a book that you can't even read and said, this is the truth. This is the true word of God. And you have to believe everything that is in this book. And if you don't, you're going to burn in the fiery pits of hell, which is 12 times hotter than the sun. 12 times hotter than the sun, for real, y'all? Do you know how hot the sun is? I mean, think about it. The sun is like 93 million miles away or something like that. And on a hot summer day, you can fry a doggone egg off the hood of your car based on the heat of the sun. And this place is 12 times hotter than that, and you're going to burn in it forever if you don't believe this book that you can't even read. Yeah, that's child abuse. I see it. See, y'all making me act bad. Y'all making me act up. Andrea, Buddha does not teach about any afterlife. Correct. You are absolutely correct. And man, y'all gonna make us go there. Y'all gonna make you'll have some people not able to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to break down, get into this type of thing. But y'all want to go there, we gonna go there. Yeah, it's different. That is true. It's a lot of the concept of heaven and hell, as we know it in modern religion or Christianity and I guess Islam and Judaism, is a distortion. Heaven and hell, some people articulate it as a state of mind, a state of being. We can go down that rabbit hole, but I'm not going to do it right now. Let me see. After we die, it's over. If you know science, then you know what I'm saying. Ooh, Che. First of all, brother, I'm with you 1,000% because yes, I know science. I love science. Science is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? If we're really going to gain liberation in our struggle, we have to apply science. We have to be scientific in our approach. But like, I love all science, from astrophysics to biology and all of that. And I know exactly what you're talking about. And ooh, how deep do I want to go? Because we can go deep down this rabbit hole. Yeah, when you die, it's over. I ain't gonna touch it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I'll just say I'll agree. I agree. Okay. Kemet spiritual system says our soul are weighted on the scales of Ma'at after we die. Is that a belief or principle? That is a belief, brother. That is a belief. That and it can be used as it depends on how you take that. It depends on how you interpret that. Let me take that back. Because it depends on how you take it. If you take it literally, then like after you die, then your heart's gonna go float up to somewhere, and some dude Osiris is gonna be like, or Osar is gonna be to have your heart and put it on the scale and have a feather of ma'at, and if your heart is not lighter than that feather of ma'at, then you can't, go on to the afterlife or wherever, or however you go. If you take that literally, then it's a belief. It's truly a belief. And I know some people might get mad at me because we got a lot of people who are big into, African spirituality. And if it worked for you, great, man, it's great. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, because I don't care about what you believe in. But, being a scientific mind, I got to analyze, the objective reality. So, if we taking that story that literally is that actually physically happens to you when you die, then yeah, that's a belief. If we're looking at that and we're analyzing and we're interpreting as you should live righteous life, a life based on the principles of Ma'at, truth, justice, reciprocity, and okay, I don't some more. But if we're saying that, basically this is a metaphor for how you should live your life. So when you die, at the time of your death, you haven't done so much, caused so much trauma and raised so much hell in this life that it weighs so heavy on your heart. Because every time you do something wrong, every time you do something bad to somebody, every time you screw over somebody, that's a burden. That's like a weight on your shoulder. That's a weight on, when you do something that uplifts people, it's like lightens. You walk around guilt-free. Your conscience is clear. You feel good about yourself because you're living a righteous life. You know that you are providing, you are being a benefit to humanity. So if we're taking it as a metaphor for how we should live life, then yeah, it's a principle. It's all in how we interpret things and how we look at things. And I know, just because it's African spirituality doesn't mean that I'm not going to analyze it with a scientific mind. And a lot of people might be mad at me for that, but I have to be true to myself because I analyze everything with a scientific mind. Even if it's something that I respect, that I honor, something from my ancestors that I love and I raise up, I still have to analyze it with a scientific mind. I can't be hypocritical. I got to point out the contradictions in this and that, regardless to what it is. And so, yeah, if you're taking that story literally, then it is definitely a belief. If you're just using it as a metaphor to how you should live your life, then it's a principle. Let me see. I believe in the freedom of our people. Shay, I believe in the freedom of our people too. And that's the biggest principle. That's my religion. Personally, my religion is liberation, freedom. Let me see. Andrea said, I left my body. There's something there. I'm not sure where I understand. I'm not sure I understand where you're going there. There's something there. I left my body. There's something there. I'm not sure, expand. Say you Puerto Rican. Did I call you something else other than Puerto Rican? I'm sorry if I did. I'm sorry. Okay, Andrea. On Freedom Power, you had a question for Andrea. Does a person have to believe in Buddha to follow Buddhism? I can answer that for you. No, absolutely not. There are people who are Buddhists who don't necessarily believe in Buddhism. They look at Buddhism or the Buddha. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. People who follow Buddhism who don't necessarily subscribe to a deity. They look at Buddha as being a metaphor or principles, or just an example of principles. But no, you definitely do not have to believe in Buddha to follow Buddhism. And that's kind of one of the difficult things when you're dealing with religious people, because they look at things through a religious eye. You know, they look at, because like a lot of people, a lot of religious people say, well, you know, you worship science. And like, no, you don't worship science. You study science, you analyze science. You don't worship science. You know, that's why science changes. When it's not the science change, you learn more and you build on the science. So what you know today will be enhanced tomorrow. You might say something different tomorrow because you have more knowledge, you know. But a lot of religious people, when talking about science, they're like, well, yeah, but you worship science. Like, no, it's not worshiping, because we religious people have a tendency to look at the world through a religious eye. So when, you know, you have Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people believing in a deity or a messiah or a demigod type figure is such a big part of what they do, that they see every other belief system through that same prism. But when you expand and learn about more, you understand, oh, that ain't really, these are relatively new concepts of believing in, you know, individual, believing in this messiah concept. These are relatively new principles. When you go back to the origins of where these belief systems come from, no, it wasn't focused on, you ain't have to believe in nobody is your savior. Really, it's almost like these savior figures are like middlemen to God. And it seemed like they were created in order to exploit people using religion. Because the farther you go back, the more the concept of God was just something that was a part of all of us. It wasn't an individual, a deity that existed outside of yourself. It was just part of who you are, part of what everything is. This is actually, you know, the ancient principles of where all of these things came from. So, so yeah, you know, definitely do not have to believe in Buddha to be a Buddhist. And Shay, you agree with me? You said no. Andrea also agreed. No, not really. Buddha searched for a way to live without suffering, so he went on a spiritual mission to help others. Jay, Buddha did not teach religion. Let me see. Wouldn't others have to believe you in order to accept what you say is on the other side? I'm trying to understand what you say. Wouldn't others have to believe you in order to accept what you say is on the other side? I'm not really sure, or I'm not understanding the point of that particular comment. And Freedom Power, I'm assuming that you're a religious brother, which good for you. You know what I'm saying? Good for you. You know, just point blank, good for you. But yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I'm probably behind on these comments. Correct. I feel it's a philosophy. Jay said, I'm a scientific thinker. Jay, I am also. That's why we agree on so much. Egyptian. I don't even know what y'all talking about now. Let me see, Andrea. After all I have seen and survived, I'm a spiritual thinker. Okay, good for you. I got some stuff that need to be up out of here. Got something about some hot girls here. Let me block you. Let me see. All right, freedom power. I think the objective truth is everyone has their own beliefs, whether in religion, spiritual system, atheism, etc. They are all subjective beliefs because none of us really know. But as you say, whatever one believes, that belief should compel one to fight the alligator. Peter killed in the movie. See, that's why I like you, brother. That's why I told you gotta have your own damn show. Man, look how you did that. You brought it back to the movie. You know, and that's something I had wanted to talk to about anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't even gonna you know, I'm finna change subject because we went down a rabbit hole that I wasn't trying to go through. I agree with that, brother. Regardless to what you believe in, it should compel you to fight that alligator that Peter killed in the movie. Hey, I ain't gonna give away that scene, but hey, that scene was dope as hell. I was like, man, what the fuck, man? It was. Let me see. How can you follow something you don't believe in? Then you're gonna pull it right back in there. I think, all right, Freedom Powder, I think you know your the concept of belief is we're kind of losing that in translation. Because see, it's like, how can I say that? Follow something that you don't believe in. When I'm talking about beliefs, I'm talking about things that cannot be verified. You just have faith in it. Science has a certain burden of proof, a certain level of evidence that's required. You know, that's why, you know, and first of all, a lot of people don't understand how science even work because politicians use science and they misuse science in order to promote certain agendas. But like how science works, if you have an idea or thought and you research it and you do studies and experiment and you come up with certain conclusions, be like, oh no, this is what I found. And if it's good enough, then, or you got enough power or whatever, then a scientific journal publishes your finding, you know, regardless of whatever that is. They will publish it. Now, what politicians do, they go right there at that moment and they say, oh, research says da 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 da. You know, they just find the published research that backs up whatever agenda that is, you know. But that's actually not good science because once it is published in a journal, something called a peer review happens. That means all other scientists jump on it and they critique it and they break it down and they try to look for flaws. And this process happens over and over and over and over until you come to a consensus and it says, you know what? Damn, this shit right. You know? And not only, you know, the other scientists have to, you know, agree and verify it, you know, have to be able to do the same things you do with and get the same results. And trust me, it's a competitive thing. So you got all kind of people who are trying to prove you wrong. But not only that, you know, it's like other aspects of science has to validate what you're doing, you know, what you did, you know. So, you know, belief is Jesus was our Lord and Savior and he died for your sin. Can't prove that. When you die, you're going to go to heaven. Can't prove that, you know. Interesting thing, religion seems to always stand right beyond the boundaries of scientific knowledge. What I mean by that is, once upon a time, people didn't understand thunder and lightning. They say, oh, that's God, or this is this, you know, that's the devil and all that type of stuff. But then we learned, oh, thunder is caused by this, lightning is caused by that, and all this type of stuff. You learn, and so now God moves, religion moves. It's no longer the thunder. Now, oh, you see all those bright things in the sky? Those are gods. Those are gods. But we learn. We realize, oh, these are planets, these are stars, these are these type of things. Oh, so now God moves, it expands. Now it's whatever, you know. So ultimately, you figure out, oh, it's something called a Big Bang and all of this type of thing, but we don't know what happened before the Big Bang. Ha ha! That's God. That's what God is. Until we figure out what happened for the Big Bang, and then God will move. You know what I'm saying? Because God always dwells on belief. It has to be a belief. But belief is not knowledge. And I think one of the biggest problems is we've been conditioned to believe and not know. That's a big problem within our community. We have been conditioned to believe and not know. One of the biggest problems that we have is that we lack the ability to do critical thinking. We're not taught how to critically think in school. That is not an accident, brothers and sisters. It's not an accident that we can't critically think. Because under a capitalistic society, under capitalism, they need a public, a working force that's smart enough to implement the program, but not smart enough to dissect the program, find the contradictions, and see a better way of doing it. So you're not taught to be a critical thinker. And when you think critically, then a lot of things in religion just break down. It just breaks down. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. There's no need to believe in these type of things, you know. Because thing about belief, thing about believing something is really detrimental because it prevents you from knowing. Belief prevents you from knowing. Now, follow this because this is extremely important. And like I said, we have been conditioned to believe. You have people like, oh, the earth is flat. The earth is flat. That's what I believe. So, you know, if that's what you believe, that means that's what you're going to go with. Sometimes instead of believing stuff, we need to embrace, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with these three words, I don't know. Because once you embrace the fact that you don't know something, it opens the possibility of you knowing it. Because when you realize, when you admit that you don't know something, the curiosity for knowing still exists. Like, I don't know. Let me find out. I don't, you know, that curiosity exists. Once you embrace a belief, that curiosity disappears. It is satisfied. Like, dang, I don't know if the earth is flat, but I'm going to believe the earth is flat. That's what I'm going to believe. The earth is flat. So now that curiosity is satisfied, and that's what you're going to go. You're going to go on believing whatever it is that you believe. And you're not going to do any research. You're not going to find out. You're not going to analyze. You ain't going to do none of that stuff because you believe something. And that's detrimental to us. That is extremely detrimental to us, especially when you're trying to build a nation, because you can't build a nation based on belief, based on I believe. Now, what belief is important, what belief works is when you believe in yourself, when you believe in your struggle, when you believe in that type of thing, those type of things help you out because it gives you a certain confidence. But just a blind belief in things, it gives you an arrogance that is detrimental. And it prevents you from actually knowing. And you can know. We should condition ourselves and train ourselves to know. Because being just believing something is intellectually lazy. I don't want to research that. I don't want to I don't want to analyze that. I just want to believe in something. That's why we can be brainwashed so easily. Something happened. We just start talking about some beliefs. I believe this. I believe that. COVID-19 hit. I believe black people can't get it because we got melanin. I'm so glad I do these podcasts because as soon as they came out, I was like, well, that's probably not true. There's no evidence that would suggest that. In fact, being that our community is some of the most vulnerable communities because we lack control of the basic institutions and resources that govern our lives, chances are when it does hit our community, it will be devastating to us. I'm on record as saying that before it even hit the black community. And it did. Why? Because I'm a critical thinker. I'm actually on record is predicting a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff. That's why they call me prophecy. Because I just made I kept making predictions that came true. And oh, you're a prophet. It's a little more than that, but you know. Anyway, let me see. Now y'all just don't went to town and got all this stuff, and I'm just talking. I believe science makes my spirituality stronger, but again, I don't believe in religion. Okay, I hear you. Jorge, you say fear created what we call God. I don't disagree with that. I definitely don't disagree with that. Definitely. If you haven't noticed, fear is a big part of religion. You know, fear kind of governs religion. You know, hey, if you don't do right, you're gonna go to hell. You're gonna go to hell. Anyway, man. See, I said I was gonna do this, man. Oh, making me. Freedom, power. You agree? Now that makes sense. No, not religion. No religions at all. Okay. All right. Let me bring this back because we actually had a subject that was not religion, that we supposed to be talking about, and we kind of got sidetracked. Hope I ain't offend nobody. I mean, really, I do hope I didn't, because that wasn't my purpose. Actually, I just wanted to talk about a movie that I enjoyed, that I think had a lot of teachable moments in it, and religion was just one of them. It was just one of them. But then it was balanced. It didn't just slam religion. It didn't just say, oh, Christianity was bad. It shows some positive aspects to it. And that's something that I basically have learned to appreciate from religion, because us as human beings, one of the biggest problems we have with stress and anxiety is because we have these gigantic brains. So we have the ability to foresee what's going to happen, to analyze something and predict what's going to happen. Well, this gets us in trouble because the majority of the things that we suffer from, and I'm kind of going, in a different direction here, but the majority of the things that we suffer from are things that don't exist in the present. What I mean by that is we worry about things, we relive things that happened to us in the past, things that happened to us back in the day. And we just relive that, like, man, I got cheated on 10 years ago. And man, I don't trust women now. I can't stand because I was hurt so bad. This happened yesterday. And I'm just messing when you relive it over and over and over and over. Or you worry about things that might happen in the future. Oh man, how I'm gonna pay my bills? If I can't pay my bills, then I'm gonna be out in the street and my babies ain't gonna have this. How is this gonna happen? None of those things, what happened in the past or what might happen in the future, exists right here in the present. This is something I had to learn, what I'm saying? And this is where I have utilized spiritual principles. I didn't necessarily go to religion, but I did go through certain spiritual principles, like living in the now, living in the moment, living for right now, and not be preconsumed and focused and suffering from something that happened in the past or something that might not even ever happen in the future. Because in the present, that's where you can affect your future. What you do right now is going to create your future. And to get back to religion, where I think can be a good thing is it's an easy way for you to just let things go. Because people always say, just give it to God. Don't worry about it. Give it to God. Give God the will. You know what I'm saying? So in that way, I can see a benefit to it. On the other hand, it can be detrimental with that same principle, because a lot of times there are things that we need to do, and some of us take that principle way too far. And instead of getting up and doing what we need to do, we'll be just give it to God. Give it to God. So it's a balance that has to be achieved. You have to do those things that are in your control, that are in your power, to better your condition, to better your situation. And the things that are outside of your control, you can't be tormented by it, you know. So, you know, that's where I think, you know, religion is positive, you know. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, I'll read some more examples. Like I hit a sore spot, pinched a nerve with this religious conversation. Let me see. Let me see. Che, like, how could you follow something if you don't know what you're following? That's like the blind leading the blind. Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Say. See, yes, I'm using belief by its definition. Example, scales of Ma'at are not scientific and can't be proven. Therefore, it takes belief to accept the scales of Ma'at as what happens after death, or to believe the principles of Buddha will work before you prove them. Okay, that example. All right. So this is I think the fundamental difference in belief and knowledge. So scales of Ma'at, that's something you purely got to believe in. You purely got to believe in that. Point blank. Ain't nothing else about it. You. Ain't no test. Ain't nothing you can do to prove it unless you just die and just come back. And then even if that happens, that's suspect, you know, because anyway, I ain't gonna get into that. But a principle, a Buddha principle, those are things that you can test. You know, you can test out whether they work or not. And I'm not saying they work or they don't. You know, I'm not saying either one. But those are things that you can actually test. You can implement them to see, okay, does this work? You know, I can run an experiment and say, okay, I implemented these principles for this amount of time. What happened? You know, did I get the desired results? Did I run the test correctly? Did I do these things? You know, that's the difference. You know, one, hey, how you gonna test my eye? How you gonna do it? Don't know. It's a belief. I mean, you want to believe it? That's cool. It's all that, but how you gonna do it? You know, now you can test the principles of my art. You can test that to see if you can implement it and see what type of change it makes for your life. You know. Let me see. It seems like everyone who dies these days are going to some place they call heaven, where nowhere in the universe could heaven be found. Yeah, they just had this thing called the James Webb Telescope. They launched in space, and it's a dope ass telescope because it allows us to see farther out in space than you ever have. I mean, this thing is called nebulae, which you couldn't see through before. We can see through it now, and we have pictures with more clarity of the universe than we ever have up until this point. But still haven't found heaven. I'm not saying it don't exist, but hey, right now we got to believe in it. See, I left my body, but I didn't see heaven or hell. I was still connected to life, but coming back to my body is something I can't deny. Still don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Interesting thing about like near-death experiences, after-death experience, or near-death, whatever you want to call it. We've heard of people who have near-death experiences, and they say, "Oh, this happened, that happened, this happened, this happened." Personally, I know like three people. Yes, three people who have like legally died and they've been brought back. Three people. One, my mother, because she was very sick. She suffered with cancer for a long time. She had a lot of things. One time, she was like, "Ooh," but she was gone, and she came back. One was a principal of my old African Center school. Yeah, they pronounced her dead. They was ready to do the funeral, and she came back. Another was a brother who I went to school with. He got hit by lightning. They had to bring him back. Each one of these examples, they said the exact same thing. They said while they was dead, it was just a complete state of unawareness, a complete state of unconsciousness. They didn't know anything. It's like, far as they know, it's like they one day they hear, next thing they woke up, and everything that happened in between they just didn't not exist. It didn't exist. And I remember my mom, she was kind of freaked out about it. Like, damn, I could just be gone and I wouldn't even know nothing. It's just gone, because I had no idea all of this stuff was happening. Just a complete state of unawareness. So, take that for whatever, whatever. And I could go in depth about, my beliefs about what happens to you after death. After death, I agree with Shay. When you die, it's over. But I ain't gonna get into that. That's because I start depressing people. See, one day we should pass the definition. We should post the definition of belief, then choose which aspect of the definition applies. I guess, when you say belief, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, to me, it ain't really a complicated definition, It ain't really complicated. It ain't nothing really, that you can analyze about it. I don't know too many different definitions of belief. If you say belief is knowledge, then I would have to say you don't understand what belief is, And I'm trying to figure out a definition of belief that I can apply here, but I can't think of nothing without using the word belief in it. Let me see. We had a good talk about religion. We need to have those talks from time to time to brush up on our thinking. I agree with that. So, okay. You're making me feel better because, like I said, I wasn't trying to have a discussion on religion. Let me see. I don't think you were sidetracked because religious belief, faith were central to them. And you're right about that. They were central to the movie. And like I said, I like the dichotomy of how they did it. I like the way they show both aspects of belief and religion and faith and all of that type of thing. I do appreciate that. It was Peter's belief that kept him going and eventually brought him back to his family. And yeah, that's like exactly, I'm with you 1,000%. That's 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? It showed how belief can allow us to persevere and endure impossible situations, and yeah. So let me see. Buddha has the most extensive knowledge of the mind in the world. That's interesting. I can't say yes or no on that because I have not studied all the knowledge of the world. So I couldn't say that's true. But one thing I can say, in the field of mental health, they are adopting many Buddhist principles. In fact, when I was telling y'all, how, I had to gravitate towards certain spiritual principles, it was actually principles of Buddhism, to help me deal with certain things and about how you think and how, all those good things. So, I don't know if Buddhism has the most extensive knowledge, but I can't disagree. I don't know. Like I said, again, embracing those three words, I don't know, instead of just simply believing something. I could easily say, no, that ain't true. That ain't true. I don't believe that. I don't know. Maybe I'll research it. Maybe I'll find out. And then that's called growth. I can grow. I can learn more. Let me see here. Hey, Millie Queen, how you doing? Welcome to the program. We've been having a discussion. Really, it's supposed to be on emancipation, and we did talk about that for a while, but then we got into religion and hey, opened up Pandora's box. Comrades, thank you for joining us on the NABA Broadcast Association, New African Broadcast Association. NABA, thank you, Millie Queen, for that. See, how could you disconnect from the material world and yet be a part of it? It's impossible. See, Che, there you go doing it again, man. I know you. See, Che, you and I have studied some similar material. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with some dialectical materialism. And, So that's what's up. Oh, okay. You say apologies. I've been listening and couldn't comment in the store. You in the store buying some stuff. Get us some food. Get us some food. I hate religion, but that belief is that bullshit. I mean, BS kept our people alive during their plight through slavery. They have to believe in something. And absolutely, you know what I'm saying? And see, that's the thing when you have a scientific mind, you think objectively. You think objectively. It's not you don't think emotionally. At least you're not. Science kind of teaches you not to think with your emotions. Don't think in your feelings. You think objectively, and the point of your conversation is not to be right. The point of your conversation and your research is to find out what is true. It's something called objective reality. Objective reality is all those things that exist outside of your mind. It is not your perception. It is not your beliefs. It is not your point of view. It is really the truth. It is the truth that exists. Because the truth is it exists. I hate when people say, "Well, I'm telling my truth." I hate that term, my truth, because it makes truth something subjective. It makes truth it elevates a particular perception or perspective to a truth, which I don't really care for that. But we should always be thriving to find the objective reality in everything we do, especially if we're talking about building a nation, especially if we're talking about taking on this empire, this powerful as hell, because you ain't gonna get it with things that ain't, it's not concrete without examining and studying the material world, concrete material world. Because we have to have concrete analysis of the concrete conditions if you want to find true solutions to anything. Let me see. I have been here. Great conversation. Thank you. Love you, brother. I love you too, Shay. Sincerely. Let me see. People who got what's that point? Is that what that emoji is? I don't know. Exercise their belief in science. People who refuse to get the jab exercise their belief in science. People who refuse to get the jab didn't believe the science. Okay, you want to go there. You want to go there. I disagree. Because when I talked about politicians utilize bad science in order to promote their agenda. Both sides of that tale, whether you were anti-jab or pro-jab, neither one of them really follow the science. Neither one. Point blank, period. Neither one, regardless of where you stand on that, whether you got the shot or you refuse to get the shot. Neither one, because these are the objective facts about the so-called jab. These are just the objective facts. And I'm not going to the conspiracy theory, just the what we know, what we know and what can be verified. COVID-19 is a virus that in most people get over. The overwhelming majority get over it and they're fine, make a 100% recovery from it. The more overwhelming majority of people as far as COVID-19. However, there is a demographic of people which this virus is extremely dangerous to. Those are people who have comorbidities. Those comorbidities are multiple diseases that compromise your immune system. So COVID is really difficult for these particular people. Individuals who are overweight and people who are elderly. These three people are the people who are, for the most part, die from COVID-19. All right? These are facts that we've known for a long time, even before COVID-19 came to America. And like I said, y'all here, y'all lost 4 people to COVID. And this kind of goes into my point about being an objective thinker. That's the reality. Most people will be fine from COVID, but there is a population of people that is especially dangerous from COVID, especially the earlier variants, not necessarily Omicron. But, okay. Now let's go to the jab, the shot. The vaccine does not prevent an individual from catching COVID-19. It doesn't. It does, based on the research, tend to make you go through COVID a little easier. It doesn't affect you as bad as it probably could. That's based on, the information, the data that we have. So the reality, the objective reality, in my perspective, as far as the COVID-19 shot, was that the majority of people in America don't really need it. Don't need it, because if we get COVID-19, we're going to be fine anyway. Most of us have had it, whether you had the shot or not, because it doesn't prevent. Doesn't prevent you from spreading it, doesn't prevent you from getting it. So if you're not in one of those vulnerable populations, then you getting the shot or you not getting the shot is on you. For the record, no, I didn't get the shot. Why? Because I felt with my health, my lifestyle, if I got COVID-19, I'm going to be fine. And the other thing about COVID-19 is when you catch it and you recover from it, it creates a natural immunity that is actually stronger than the vaccine. Another fact. All of these are facts. Everything you heard in the media about people who was pro-vaccine and anti-vaccine had nothing to do with facts. Because you had politicians saying, we all got to get it. Everybody got to get it. And if you don't get the shot, then you're going to get fired from your job and you can't work and you can't do this, which it was a lawsuit about that. In fact, people in New York who got fired because they wouldn't take the shot, they had to get reimbursed all the money that they lost, and they had to be rehired because that was unconstitutional what they did, because it was not based on the facts. It was not based on the science. People in politics who was pushing the jab was not following the science. See, and like kind of what you said, when you said, well, people who took the shot believed in science and people who didn't take the shot don't believe in the science. Not true. Not true at all. The truth is politicians was using bad science in order to promote certain agendas. You listen to actual scientists, they'll say the same thing that I just said. Scientists who were not part of a political party, because one thing you have to understand, the CDC, the director of the CDC is selected by the president of the United States. So that makes the CDC really political in its approach. But this is just my analysis. And the reason why I make that analysis is because understanding the basic facts, when it comes to COVID-19, the shot, the jab, period, what we should have been focused on. Let me see. The people said they believe the science. Brother, it don't matter what the people said they believe in. You said the word believe. Believe, not know. Because we've been conditioned to believe and not know. You could, if you do real research, real concrete analysis, then you know what it is. You know what the science actually is. People who say they believe in science because this term "follow the science" became a political catchphrase. People who follow the science, who were pushing follow the science, denied natural immunity, even though the science clearly said that you get natural immunity. from having COVID-19. They weren't following science. That's what I'm trying to get people to see. We actually need to follow science, not politics. And we got to be able to make a difference between science and politics. And COVID-19 was a great example. And this is something, you know, that I haven't shared with people. But personally, when COVID-19 started, based on the information that we had about COVID-19, we shouldn't have been wasting time arguing over whether COVID was real or not, whether it was Black people can catch it because we got melanin in our skin, or whether it's the result of 5G or satellite, whatever. We shouldn't have been worried about none of that. We should have been worried about, like, okay, this is a virus that most of us in a certain demographic will be fine. But there is another demographic of people who this is extremely vulnerable for. So how can we protect these people who are vulnerable? We up there arguing about, oh man, this is like some 5G satellite. COVID ain't real. All of this stupid shit, when we should be like saying, you know what? Auntie that's on dialysis 3 times a week, we need to see what we can do to make sure that she survived this thing. If we thought like that, if that was our thinking, if we were analytical and thought like that, then we probably could have saved some people. We probably would have people who still here. But we're focused on the wrong thing. One side, oh, it ain't real. The other side, you gotta take the jab. You gotta take the jab. Both sides full of shit. Instead of analyzing the concrete conditions. And I know, you know, a lot of people disagree with me and all that, but I don't say shit just, you know, I don't agree with things just to agree with them. I analyze everything. And that's just my analysis. Let me see. Have we ever thought of what this society would look like without exploitation, poverty, unemployment, jail, prison, racism, where we would live, where health care is free, transportation is free? Thank you for bringing that back. Thank you for bringing that back, because if this society was based on the type of society that you described, you'll have better information, you know, you will have better information, and it would have been more effective. We would have dealt with COVID-19 more effectively. But you had a whole, you know, you had a group of people who were basically trying to promote vaccines to really people who didn't necessarily need it, because of money. You know, when you actually study this vaccine thing, it's predominantly about money, because the nations that got the vaccine were the richest nations in the world. And they had laws and agreements saying that, look, if you have a surplus plus of this vaccine, you can't even give it to poor countries. They got to pay from it. They got to get it from us. That's about money. People who actually wanted, the countries that wanted the vaccine said, hey, let's get rid of that intellectual property law, you know, because so we can manufacture it ourselves and we can be more effective at administering it. You know, we got the capabilities doing that. But it was like, no. You got to get it from us. That's capitalism. So under capitalism, in the middle of a health crisis, the powers that be are going to exploit that, even if that is at the detriment of the people. That's the reality. That's how capitalism works, you know. And like I said, I mean, it's like our understanding of this whole COVID-19, the vaccine, has been distorted by politics, not by science. If you lay out the actual science of it, I guarantee you, we'll all agree on the same thing. We'll all agree. We'll all agree, because it's really not that difficult. It ain't that complicated. It ain't that complicated. You know, why are you trying to force a shot on the entire population when the shot doesn't stop you from getting it? It just prevents you from getting really, really sick and dying from it. When a large part of the poor population, it is shown and been proven to, when they get COVID-19, they don't get really, really sick. They don't die from it. We know clearly the people who are dying from it. So instead of having this campaign of saying everybody in the world got to get the shot, why don't you have a campaign to say, you know what? There's a vulnerable population. We need to deal with them. We need to figure out what's the best thing to do with these vulnerable people. I understand you might not trust it or all this type of stuff, but hey, that's just, but I mean, honestly, it's like, sometimes we confuse science with politics. But if you actually study science, you hate politics. Matter of fact, real scientists hate politicians because politicians get in the way of true science. And I heard that from a scientist. Let me see. I didn't believe the science, but I got the jab because my disabled grandson was what made me get it, not for science, but because he's too precious. So I risked it. And that's always been my position. Whether to get this vaccine or not should be a personal decision. And it should be a decision based on concrete analysis of objective reality. It should be based on actual facts, not what you believe, not what you think. Because a lot of people believe in a lot of crazy shit. A lot of people believe black people can't get it because we got melanin. That's a belief. It wasn't based on nothing concrete. Because, trust me, way long years ago, when people start saying that, I was like, nope, 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 nope. Hey, more than likely, our community will be affected more than other communities for certain reasons. I was right. In this society, medical issues are about profit. That's why cancer will never be cured. To cure cancer, they would lose a lot of money. Exactly. Exactly. Everything under capitalism is about profit. That's why we got to get rid of this crap, y'all. We got to get rid of it. Damn, y'all, I've been talking for 2 hours and 11 minutes. See what y'all made me do? Man, I got a life to live. We'll be talking all night. But anyway, no, you absolutely right. We can end here. We can end here. Under this system of capitalism, everything is reduced to a commodity. Everything is about money. It's not about making sure everyone has the resources that we need to survive. It's not about everybody living the highest quality of life that is possible. It's not about doing the things that's going to better humanity. It's not about any of that things. It's about making money, seeing how you can exploit a situation or a thing in order to make more profit. That's why we got to get rid of it. When we create our new nation, our new society, we can't bring that crap in with it. Because if it do, we're going to get the same thing. We're just going to get rid of the white exploiters, the white slave masters, the white colonizers, and we'll have black and brown ones. And I'm not interested in that, and I hope you're not either. But we've been talking about emancipation and a whole lot of other things, which I think is an excellent movie, something we should watch and analyze. And, and I'm with you, Freedom Power. We need to, whatever we believe on, and it needs to compel us to fight that alligator. That metaphoric alligator is have our people in their death row of capitalism and exploitation. But y'all have the opportunity to see the movie. Check it out. It's a good movie. I guess it's time for me to get out of here. I appreciate every last one of y'all for making this time so enjoyable and having such a dynamic conversation. I didn't want to talk about religion, but y'all made me talk about religion, and I think we had a good discussion about religion. Hopefully, we didn't, and nobody got offended in their feelings about anything, because these are the type of conversations we need to have. And the reality is, it's kind of good to disagree. Sometimes disagreement is important because that allows growth. Growth is not something that's easy. If we're always singing kumbaya and co-signing for what each other say, then we can never grow. There's only a certain point we can rise to, and we won't get any farther than that. So we got to be able to have difference of opinions, to exchange ideas, and to come up with better ideas, So, You see, freedom, power. I said I was gonna be gone, but I am compelled to read more y'all comments because y'all are such brilliant people, and I appreciate that. All right, that's what I'm saying. Whether it was right science is not my point. Some people believe what they were told, and yeah, I'm agreeing with that. By that part of the definition, belief is defined by putting trust in and taking action. That's a definition in Webster, not trying to rehash the question of the jab being good or bad. Another definition of belief is conviction is a conviction. Yeah, I'm with that. Requires no action or evidence. There are several other parts of the definition, but as I said, another show. I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that. You know. And Che, you said power to the people, free the land, yes, land, all of that good stuff. And I'm gonna see y'all again next week or later on this week when we, do our other broadcasts. And I thank everybody for being there. Check out that movie, man. On however you check it, you got a free movie site, which I just got a free movie site, y'all. So I'm gonna get real fat because I'm looking at all the movies. I don't hardly ever look at movies, but I got a site that show all the good movies with in good quality and stuff. So, I might look at TV when I hardly ever look at TV. But I'm gonna see y'all again next week. I'm gonna leave y'all with that clip again of Will Smith beating up them slave masters. With I can't never get enough of slave master getting beat up by a black man. So free the land, y'all. Love y'all. Peace. See y'all again next.
Get that lime in there, you cowards. Whole damn camp stinks.
Hell, we will. Not when there's a perfectly good nigger to do it.
You go hang. And sir. Here. Dig.
Get that lime in there.